It's one of the most drastic and deadly life changes a person can make, to renounce your Islamic religion in favor of Christianity. But that's exactly what Zach Gariba did, and he's here to tell us why. Zach, welcome to Full Circle.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
It's good to have you. Now, okay, let's start at the beginning, because you were raised from childhood to become a Muslim Imam. In fact, your parents put you on that path. Let's talk about your childhood.
Well, I was raised as a Muslim. I was trained as a Muslim. My parents picked me somehow. I'm not sure why my parents picked me to be the Imam of the family. So I grew up as an Imam. I grew up as a Muslim guy, and I've been to the Arabic school. I learned how to read and write the Arabic language. And that's how my journey started.
Now, you're one of 6 boys in your family.
Yes, and I'm the second born. They normally use the first born, but somehow I'm not sure why they picked me up to become the Imam of the family. So I went to school. I went to Arabic school. Actually, when I grew up, I was the oldest in my class because I studied English later on, but I studied the Arabic language and the culture and to become Imam at the early age.
And you came from a family of Imams, right? Was
Yes.
your father and your grandfather an Imam?
No, my grandfather was one, but my dad wasn't. But I came from that line of Muslim religion. So anyway, I became a Muslim. I trained to become a Muslim Imam, and I was growing up. And then...
Zach, sorry, give us context. What is an Imam? Like, what would you be doing as an Imam, as a leader?
An Imam is somebody who has his own mosque, has a follower, just like a pastor has his own follower. It's just like a church, but we call it a mosque. And they have their own followers. And that's what an Imam does. Imam does almost the same thing like pastors do. But since I was trained to become Imam, I went to a place called Nigeria. So I went to Nigeria and I became an Imam of this particular mosque. And I loved what I was doing. I was enjoying what I was doing. I met these Christian friends. I have no idea who these Christian guys were, but I met these Christian friends, and we started talking. They brought their Bible. I brought my Quran, and I started debating with them. I started arguing with them. I started to tell them that, you know what, the Bible is, the Quran is much stronger than the Bible. But unfortunately, we went back and forth, and well, I kept beating them up. And then they come and they bring the Bible, and I argue with them and I beat them up. But to cut more to...
When you say beat them up, you mean you out-argued them?
You out-argued them?
Yeah,
You didn't actually
beat them up.
I physically beat them up. I physically beat them up.
Like you would punch them?
Yeah, because I was so mad.
Okay. Well,
I
it's good
physically
to
beat them
make that
up.
difference.
But anyway, but what happened was that we started arguing back and forth. I wanted to get rid of them because they're so quiet, and I wanted to get rid of them. So the way I could get rid of them, to find ways to get rid of them. So they asked me if I could go and drop them at the place whereby they have this Christian meeting. And just go and drop them. I said, well, if that's what you want me to do, I'll do that. So in Africa, we don't have phones. Okay. So we planned this 6 months in advance. So I went to this beautiful, I took them to this place. But meanwhile, my landlady has a little girl who's 12 years old, who's paralyzed from her waist to her foot. So on that day, since I have no choice, I carried her with me to the stadium.
So you're babysitting this little girl, and you forgot you were supposed to drive them, so
That's
you had
right.
to take her with
I had
you
to take them
drive
with
them
me.
to
So
the
you got
meeting.
your Christian, quiet friends and a little 12-year-old girl who's paralyzed.
Who's paralyzed from her waist to her foot.
In your car.
Yeah.
Going to
a big stadium where somebody was speaking at this place, just to go and drop them. So I got to this stadium, and I parked at the back of the stadium, but meanwhile, in the back of the stadium, there's a speaker facing me. And this guy and the speaker was saying, Jesus, Jesus. I didn't know what it was all about. I knew that I was going to speak about Christians, and they were speaking about Christian meeting. But as I parked at the back of the stadium, something did happen. The girl wanted to come out of the car.
Now, you were stuck there. You wanted to just leave.
That's right.
But you were surrounded by cars. So
yeah, because I parked the car, and I wanted to find somebody who could give me the direction. But people thought I parked the car, so people park around me and they block me in the back of the stadium.
Yeah.
So
now
you can't go anywhere.
I can't go anywhere. I'm just
You're trapped.
And moreover,
That's the key of what to do. Pack everybody in, lock them in, trap them in.
I think the problem was because I'm the imam in that neighborhood, everybody knew me. So I'm nervous now. I didn't want them to know that I'm in this Christian meeting. So I've been trying to hide my face. But the problem is, this girl, it was so hot, but this girl wanted to walk on the stage, walk to this bench. So I was taking her to this bench. As I was taking her to this bench, and
So you carried her because
yeah,
she was
carried her in my
paralyzed from the
arms.
waist down.
Yeah, I carried her in my arms. But
Yeah.
as I was walking to the stadium, something happened. This guy started speaking on this speaker, and he started to say, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. But I would try to close my ears. It's not working. But as I was walking faster, this girl's leg moved. And I'm saying, oh, wait a minute.
Her legs moved.
Yeah. And I said, well, wait a minute. This is voodoo. This is witchcraft.
Yeah.
But what happened was that then suddenly, the more this guy said Jesus, the less he's tangling.
Wow.
And then I got nervous, and she said to me, I want to walk. I said, no, you can't. You are in my arms. Anyway, to cut matters short, she bit me.
Because she wanted to get down.
Literally
You were
bit
not
me,
putting her
and
down.
I have the scar here. She bit me, and I slammed her to the floor. But right in the naked of my eyes, I saw this girl walking. And I'm
Was
saying,
she paralyzed from birth?
yes. And I'm saying, how could somebody mention Jesus' name and a girl will completely be healed? So that was my, then I started looking for what is this? There's something has to be with this. Somebody mentioned Jesus' name alone. So anyway, I went home on that day, met her parents, and went to the mosque on that day. As I was at the mosque, somehow, I'm not sure what happened. I was leading my Maghrib, I was leading the prayer, and then suddenly, these words came out of my mouth. I don't know where it came from. Instead of me to say Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I said Jesus Christ of Nazareth, right in the middle of the mosque.
And how many men are around
There
you?
were lots of people.
So what happened? Was it just like a...
I mean, and you know, the speakers are behind the stadium. And behind the mosque, so the whole place could hear it, and I got nervous, and they kicked me out. They wanted to kill me.
They just walked right up to you and just said,
kill me.
you're out.
Yeah.
They wanted to kill me. Yes. And that is the beginning of my problems. So my older brother helped me to come to Canada. So as a student, so I came to Canada, and I completely, you know, I wanted to become a pagan. I wanted to become, no, I don't have nothing to do with Christian. I have nothing to do with Muslim.
Didn't you question, like, when you said Jesus Christ of Nazareth, didn't you start to say, who is that?
I know,
what do I do?
Because my friends have been talking to me about this, so I was wondering, wow, how can these words come out of my mouth? Even I didn't plan it. I never knew it was going to come out of my mouth. I was going to say something else, but something else came out of my mouth. But I remember on January 3rd, 1997, that is so pivotal for me. I was in my room, and I planned on that day to kill myself. I was really going to end my life because my parents deserted me. They have nothing to do with me. They made a funeral for me. Everything was just crashing down. So on January 3rd, I planned to kill myself. And as I was planning to kill myself, I said 3 o'clock in the morning, I had the pills and everything ready. 3 o'clock in the morning, and I had a door knock at my door. And I was so angry. I went to the door, there was nobody there. I said, that is strange. In Canada, people have phones. They call you ahead of time. Anyway, I had a second knock. And I went there, and the third, and I said, you know what, maybe the person is going to knock the third. And so I started thumping my foot so that the person would think I'm walking back to the bed. But I stood there, and I heard this knock, bang, bang, bang. And I opened the door, and I heard this voice that I've never heard in my life. It says, your mother and father forsake you, I'll be there for you. And I look around, and I said, oh, now I'm hearing voices. Who is this? Who is this guy? He said, I am Jesus. Now I'm calling you to do something else. I said, wait a minute. I mentioned Jesus Christ of Nazareth in the mosque. I got myself into trouble. I don't want to have anything to do with you. He said, I am the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I'm ready to help you. And that was the beginning of my life.
Wow. That's incredible. Amazing. Okay. Now we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, Zach will tell us what life is like now and why he says he is ruined for the ordinary. Stay with us. We're back with Zach Gariba. Zach, we have been just enthralled with your story of turning your back on the Muslim religion. You were an imam to embracing Christianity, and it started actually with the voice of Jesus at your door speaking into your life. And I think we want to talk about now about what a sacrifice it has been for you to embrace Christianity now.
Well, what has happened is because I mentioned Jesus Christ in the mosque, I was abandoned by my parents. And my parents, all my family have rejected me. I have no relationship with my parents anymore because they cut everything. I lost everything. When I mean me, I lost everything. I lost my possession. I lost my family. I lost everything. I lost my job. I have everything. I lost everything. So I have there's nothing to live for. That's why I wanted to kill myself.
But were you also threatened your life? Because this is a really serious thing.
Yes.
For you to convert from Islam, being a Muslim, to becoming, well, saying the name of Jesus, that is a serious offense, isn't it? That's
a serious offense in the Muslim religion. But because of that, I've lost everything. I have no relationship with my family anymore until today. I still don't have a relation with my family. But as things goes on, I went to the Bible school. I became, and now I have my own pastor. I have my own church. And I have a second church in Aurelia. But what has happened for me is that the life that has become an ordinary to become the superordinary for me is I have this deep relationship with this God that is so big that can live within me. That tells me every single day what I should live for. He tells me, even one day, I'll even tell you one little story. I was going to the washroom, and I said, you know what, Jesus, can you stay out of the washroom? And he said, no. He said, no. Zach, you could fall down in the washroom. You could trip and hurt yourself in the washroom. I want you to invite me to come into the washroom. That's so ordinary.
Every detail.
That's so ordinary, how ordinary he is. And I enjoy what I do with him.
I was just going to say, so what was it like studying? Because you had studied the Quran to become a minister there.
Yes.
And then you studied the Bible.
Yes.
Like, what was the difference?
The difference is that because now I know God loves me personally. I have a deep personal relationship with him. It's not just working hard to just prove something. It's not just trying to make everybody happy. This one is making a life worth it. It's just a deeper relationship with him. This is a personal God that I'm talking about. He's so personal with you that it's just so personal. It's so deep within you and him, and it's just a relation between two people. That is so fascinating.
It's a love relationship.
It's a love relationship that you can talk. You know what? He can tell you everything about his life, and you can share your life to him. It becomes so funny. It becomes so exciting.
And that sounds so different than religion.
Yes.
Because I think people confuse it when they look at Christianity. Like, oh, it's just another religion, like all the other religions that are causing harm in the world. But you're saying it's not religion. It's a relationship.
This is a relationship. It has nothing to do with religion. Religion destroys people, but relationship builds people up. Since I have known this Jesus, it just builds me up. It builds the people who I'm teaching, and it's not only as a relationship, but a deep connection with him, a friend. I can call him a father.
But is it worth it to lose your family and everything to follow Jesus? Because for some people they would say that is too much of a risk, that there's no way that I would give up all of these safeties, my relationship with family, for a Jesus that maybe I don't even see, because that sounds pretty big.
Yeah, I know it sounds big, but this big God who has deep relation, who's become a father to you, he's a father to me. I became a fatherless. And one of the things he said to me is that if your mother and father forsake you, I will be there for you. And he's always been there for me as a father. I can call him father, and I can call him friend.
I think one of the things is, there might be people watching Zach who know that they're Christians, have been a Christian their whole life, or maybe just culturally, are Christians or believe in God, but maybe they don't experience what you're talking about. What is this, like, how do you get, I think even Christians sometimes don't get that personal, like, hear from God, walk every day, invite him into the bathroom kind of relationship. What is that difference? Like, how do they find that?
Well, I think we can all find that, first of all, is to have a personal relationship with him. That's the first step. But once you have that personal relationship with him, and I think the Father said, he said, if you ask him for anything, he will give it to you. So if you want this deep personal relationship just like a husband and a wife. You have a deep relationship. You ask God. So I asked him. They said, I want to know you personally. I just don't want to just know you by what somebody else said. I want to experience you. I want to have an encounter with you. And so that's how I begin to have an encounter with him. Sometimes just like the way he knocks at the door, sometimes I say, you know what, Jesus, I really want to sit down and have a chat with you. This is what's going on in life, and you know, I have a pain in this area. Will you talk to me? And he will come and touch me, the pain, and the pain will be healed.
So to develop, you talk a lot about relationship with God through Jesus. To develop that relationship more than just a head knowledge, but to a heart knowledge, what do people need to do?
I think people need to be honest with God. People need to be frank and be honest and tell him how you feel. Because, you know, one of the things he tells me that, Zach, I'm too big. And that nothing bothers me. There's nothing you can do that can bother me.
He's not going to be surprised
He's
by
not going to be
anything.
surprised.
Yeah.
So that's why he says, so anytime I speak, and I just share my heart to him. And heart to heart brings relationship.
And reading the Bible and letting him speak to you.
That's right.
Through his word, the Holy Bible.
And it's incredible, because who would have thought the second-born son of a family of boys, destined to be this imam of a mosque, is now here in Canada, you know, serving and living and sharing the gospel. Incredible.
It's just amazing. It's an amazing journey.
And you are pastoring now. Where are you pastoring?
At Jubilee Celebration Center in Aurelia and in Owen Sound.
Ontario, here in Ontario.
Yes.
Zach Gariba, thank you for being with us. What an amazing story. We love that. And I just want to mention to you that our prayer lines are available. If you've heard something Zach say and it's really resonating with you, we'd love to pray with you. And always keep your eyes on Jesus. It's all about him.